Well, greetings and good day. This is Christopher Fries here at Fries Forge. Well, not actually Fries Forge, more Fries Office, but here we are nonetheless. I posed a question a couple of days ago on YouTube and on my Facebook, giving people the opportunity to ask me a question that I would then answer on this video. So that's what we're doing. I'm not able to forge right now because I was bitten by a cat, and the cat's fine. But the cat bit me, and that bite caused an infection. And now that infection is, well, being dealt with, but you can see, you can kind of see, like you can see the bone now at least, so that's good. But it was big, swollen up, not good. That was 3 days ago today. Just too bad. I wanted to make a rope dart, and so that'll be the next thing that I make. I'm going to be making a rope dart and then issuing a challenge that goes along with that rope dart. So if you want to get ahead on that now, you can. But this is going to be the challenge. The challenge is going to be forge a rope dart and then smash a coconut with it. And you can either put that video up on YouTube yourself, or you can send it to me and I can put it up for you. I don't care, either one. It's fine. If I do put it up for you, then I'll just put it up as a compilation video with everybody else who sends me it, kind of thing. If that's what happens, then that's what happens. Some people find it intimidating to put a video up of themselves online, create their own channel, do all that kind of crap. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I already have the avenue to do that, so that's just fine. But it was a video challenge to record myself making a pair of tongs and then uploading it to the internet for Joey Vandersteeg that got me started at blacksmithing, on YouTube anyway. They got me started as a YouTuber, so I figure that might be a good challenge for me to set out. Perhaps I will inspire more people to begin putting their work up on YouTube, because it has been nothing but beneficial for me, and I suspect it would be nothing but beneficial for those who went about it the right way. Doesn't mean to say that I went about it the right way, or that there is a right way to go about it, but I don't know. Do you get what I mean? I think you probably get what I mean. So that'll be the challenge that's going to be coming out, and I'll be able to start working on that in a few days once this infection is completely gone. And then once that happens, then that's what we'll be doing. Just a slight update for me. I'm still waiting to be transferred to my new job, so I'm still working my 4-on 4-off shift work. Bullshit, night shifts, all that kind of good crap. But my new job is waiting for me. I'm just waiting to be transferred to it. And I've learned a little bit more, so I'm going to be working Monday to Thursday, which means I'm going to have every Friday off. So live streams are going to be Friday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific time, every Friday, every week. And every Friday live stream is going to be a new challenge. I think that's going to be a really cool thing. So this next challenge video that I'm going to be making is going to be making of a rope dart. But when I start doing a weekly live stream, I'll be able to put out a challenge to everybody every week. So you'll have 3 hours or however long it takes you, I don't really care, to make whatever we're making, and then either use it or whatever. But my plans for the future. So to the question and answering portion of this video, we'll start with YouTube first. Repaired says, nasty bite. Hope it recovers quickly. How do you source your metal? Well, I source my metal through several different ways. As much as I possibly can for free. When I need specific steels, mild steels, stainless steels, I go and I buy those from metal supermarkets. And if I need a very specific steel, like a carbon steel, I'll purchase it online. Yeah. Patrick Hance asks us, well, he says, forge welding, ? Take care, my friend. Hammers, pound, hammers, pat. So, forge welding. Yes, there's another question about forge welding that came through onto my YouTube as well. So, for the upcoming question, you can just refer to this. But forge welding. I'll give you some tips for forge welding that I found were very, very beneficial for me when I was just starting. Work with larger stock. Forge welding requires you to keep your metal at a very, very high heat for a considerably long amount of time, and also have it protected from oxygen. So you're going to need borax or some other flux, which keeps the oxygen away, creates an oxygen barrier. Get your steel to a molten, put them together, give them a little tap, light tap for your initial welding tack. And if you are working with larger steel, you'll probably have better chances of success. Smaller steel loses heat much quicker than larger steel because larger steel has more mass. So for practice, make chain. Start off making chain, make lots of little bits, forge weld them together. Generally speaking, you make 2 links and then a third link, you bind those 2 links, and so you'll make multiple series of 3 links of chain, and then you can bind those all together later. But that would be my advice to you when it comes to forge welding. Practice, practice, practice. Make chain, use larger stock. Keep your welding surfaces clean, and don't try to clean them with a brass brush. I learned that the hard way. Apparently the brass helps to inhibit the weld, so don't use brass. Jim Ludwig says, I have been trying with mixed results to darken/color metal so I can create contrast with etched images. Thoughts? Firstly, Jim, I think that's a fantastic idea. That's really neat. You mentioned specifically etching, so I assume you're using some sort of an acid or something like that. When I'm etching a knife, I'll put nail polish, clear nail polish on the very edge, so that way the edge doesn't get etched. That way the acid doesn't eat away at the fine edge, which it will. So I want to prevent that. So I put the nail polish on the edge, and anywhere that you put nail polish on, the etchant will have a harder time etching through that nail polish than it will any of the other metal. So it'll kind of be the last area affected. So if you want to keep an area as unchanged as possible, that seems to work very, very well. Sorry, let me just restart this video here. This is a video of me and Scalogrim pounding away at a 2-inch thick piece of steel that we were making, a piece of plate steel to test arrows and that kind of thing. It worked very well. And it was a lot of fun. It was like 2 years ago. Anyway, I digress. Levi Mayers asks, what should a starting blacksmith try to make as his first tool? First tool, probably punches and chisels. Make those your first tools. Larry King says, hope you heal quickly and can get yourself back to your anvil. Thank you, Larry. I hope so too. Brian Dugai, I think that's how I say your last name. I'm not sorry. I'm not sure, Brian. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Brian says, may you heal quickly. On that note, how have you been doing with the earlier mentioned health issues? I've been keeping you and your family in my prayers since that video. Well, thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate that. Every little bit of help is always welcome. Health-wise, so it's been a bit of an up and down roller coaster. It all started with heartburn. So I've had heartburn for as long as I could possibly remember, and this, it turns out, was due to a weak valve at the top of my stomach. It's called GERD. It stands for gastro something, I don't remember. But long story short, there's a valve at the top of my stomach that wouldn't close properly, so acid would splash up into my throat, and eventually this would have caused me to develop esophageal cancer and probably die from it. Well, I like living, so I went in and got a surgery done after a whole bunch of tests. They did a surgery where they took part of my stomach, wrapped it around that valve, and I think they also put some kind of rubbery thing in there as well. So they went in orthoscopically through my stomach. They made 5 incisions, blew me up with air like a big balloon, and then did all of the stuff with like cameras and little tongs, I guess. Kind of neat. After that, it was several months of heal time where you can't do anything, you just sit. You're not allowed to do anything because your stitches can let go internally and you would die. So I did nothing. But before I did that, I did absolutely everything I could possibly do in preparation. It turns out that preparation may have actually hindered me because I found out that going from 1,000,000 miles an hour to full stop is not so good for the old mental health. And as a result, I developed depression. I didn't realize this at first, but I eventually did. And after I realized it, then I started talking to psychologists, doctors, friends with depression. I started meditating. I started taking very seriously my mental health, which is not something that I've ever had to do before, although it's probably something that we all should. So it's been a couple of months now since I've discovered that, and I am on a low dose of sertraline. I'm in constant communication with the doctor. I do lots of meditation, more exercise, getting outside, that kind of thing. Lots of martial arts training, trying to attack my mind from as many angles as I possibly can in order to correct the thought patterns and the neurochemistry in my brain. And everything is going very, very well. I'm very happy with how everything is progressing. It's great. I expect to be off the sertraline by the new year, which would be great. I don't like the side effects that come with it, of course. It's kind of funny because I initially went in to get this surgery so that I could stop taking medication. And now as a result of the surgery, I have to take different medication that actually has worse side effects. But I won't have to take it for very long, I hope. Life's funny, isn't it? All right. So that answers your first question, I hope, Brian. Here's to your second question. Second, if someone wanted to start blacksmithing but lived in a more of an urban area, would it be inconsiderate to set up on the back deck and annoy already annoyed neighbors? Yes and no. So, you live in an urban area. That's okay. I do too. My forge is in my garage. In order to be as considerate as possible, I always make sure that I am not forging before or after the set times as local bylaws in both my strata and my, what do you call it? District, I guess? District. So I make sure that I'm not starting before the allowable start times. Like, I think the allowable start time is like 7 o'clock before you're allowed to start mowing your lawn. Well, a lawnmower makes as much noise or more than a forge. So I figure if you can mow your lawn, I can forge in my forge. So that's the earliest I would ever possibly start. And then usually 9 o'clock, okay, it's late enough, I'll shut her down. I try to abide by those two religiously. When it comes to my coal forge, I try to be as considerate as possible again. I try to keep the smoke down as much as possible. This is done when you're starting a fire by starting your fire with wood or charcoal and then adding your coke and your coal on top of it after that. When you start your coal forge is when the most smoke kind of comes up. So if you have a fire already going and then you move on to it from there, you build onto it from that, you'll have less smoke. Work hard to keep your smoke down because your neighbors will really not like having coal smoke all over their stuff and the wood. The soot that falls from the smoke. The smoke is just particulates and gases, and those particulates eventually settle. So if you keep the smoke down, you keep the noise to within the noisy hours of the day, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Now, I'm very lucky. All of my neighbors are really good. I'm very happy for that. We live in a very nice strata. We're all very friendly. Everybody knows each other. They all know I'm a blacksmith, and I have had zero complaints. But I try to be as respectful as I possibly can, and that, I'm sure, is part of it. Because if I was forging till 11 o'clock at night, or if I started forging at 6 in the morning, I would think that somebody would have a problem with that, and rightfully so. Oh, look, we're almost done again. This video is actually taking longer than I anticipated. All right, let's see if we can move along here. Jeffrey Godfrey, sorry to hear about this. Me too, man. Me too. I wasn't expecting to get an infection from a cat bite. I almost didn't go to the hospital because I was just like, nah, I'm fine. But, well, I woke up the next day and then I definitely wasn't fine. Do you do anything to prepare for forging? Is there ever a time where you involve forging into a ritual? Would you ever consider forging and then destroying a weapon or tool akin to old bog sacrifices? Hope you recover soon. Do keep a close eye on your hand. Many people who are bitten by cats end up being hospitalized. You're absolutely right in that last one there, Jeffrey. About 85% of all cat bites, according to my doctor yesterday, get an infection from being bitten from cats. So, and infections quite often, if left untreated, can end up with hospitalization and intravenous antibiotics, which is something I very desperately want to avoid. And so that's why I can't forge today, and so that's why I'm making this video. Because I'm not allowed to forge. Because I don't want to end up in the hospital like all of those people. So yeah, man, I'm totally taking care of myself. But to your questions, is there ever a time where you involve forging into a ritual? I know Japanese smiths, they start their fire every morning with a ritual where they heat up a piece of steel they start the fire by striking a piece of steel until it glows red, and then they use that red hot steel to light the paper, to ignite the fire, to light their charcoal forge. I don't do that, but that's about the only ritual that I could think of that maybe there are other smiths perhaps that have rituals like that, but not really, no. Would you ever consider forging and then destroying a weapon or tool akin to old bog sacrifices? No. Simply because I think it would have no effect. I don't believe in magic, and so I don't do things in line with the belief that sacrifices of that nature would have any sort of effect. I'm not sure if that's what you mean to say, but no. Yeah. I don't mean to insult anybody when I say that magic isn't real, but there's no evidence that it's real, and all of my efforts as a youngin' to invoke any kind of magic have never worked, so all evidence points to it doesn't. So that's why I have the position that I have. And now I love your name because it's all written in runes, and I tried translating it, but it didn't come out with anything legible. So I'm not sure what your name said, my runic friend, but you ask, you say, just beat the infection with a hammer, which is awesome, and I find it very hilarious, and that's great. How about a video about forge welding for noobs? And this was the other question about forge welding. Yes, refer to my previous answer. Yeah, a video for forge welding for noobs sounds like a great idea. I'm going to add that to my list of videos to make. Right now, if I have okay, well, I don't have a pen, but I'm going to add it to my list of videos to make. Set note.
Okay, what's the note?
Make a video about forge welding for noobs.
Okay, saving.
There we go. I'll make your video soon. Survival Boys, for some reason, wants to know what my favorite position is. I presume he means sexually. Well, I don't know if I really have a favorite. Sex is awesome, and there's never only just one position, so I don't know. Doggy style is pretty great. Pile driver's pretty fun. 69's awesome. Yeah, there you go. Those three, I guess. Jeremy Blorn. I hope I said that right. What YouTube blacksmith or blacksmiths do you look up to? As mentioned earlier, Joey Vandersteeg. He is an amazing blacksmith. I look up to him for his self-taught skill. Really cool dude. Good friend of mine. And I always enjoy my conversations with him. He's the reason I started making YouTube. So the person that I look up to the most, definitely Joey Vandersteeg. He used to go by the name Technicus Joe, but I think he rebranded himself just to his actual name as I started out. Other blacksmiths that I do look up to, Alex Steele, I look up to him. He does a fantastic job. He has been wildly successful on YouTube using blacksmithing to do so, and that is something that I wish to emulate. Anybody with a power hammer. I need a power hammer. So those two and everybody else with a power hammer. There we go. DD Blacksmithing. Oof. Hope you get better soon. Thanks. Do you have any local blacksmiths that you take advice from? Yeah, totally. The Vancouver Island Blacksmithing Association, that's where I basically learned how to use coal. Lots of very knowledgeable people there. Hi guys, who have been a phenomenal help to me. It was there that I learned how to make triangular stock for the Yari. It's there that I learned how to use coal properly. Yeah, I've learned a lot from those guys. Another good friend of mine, Fred, he is responsible for a great deal of my tooling. Hi Fred, I believe he watches my videos. Fred is a really cool guy. He is a retired blacksmith, and yeah, I really like Fred. Really like Fred. So yeah, Vancouver Island Blacksmith Association, everybody involved there, and my friend Fred. Those are local blacksmiths that I take advice from. That is all for the YouTube comments. Now moving right over to Facebook again, going from oldest to newest. Lando Novak says, tell me about forging stainless, what to watch out for, tips, and finishing aspects. So Lando, that is a great question. Stainless steel is the bane of the blacksmith. It behaves very strangely. You have to keep it very hot. It's definitely forgeable. You can forge it. When you're bending small things, keep them extremely hot, because if you don't, they'll snap, they'll break. It really sucks. I don't like forging with stainless. It behaves very oddly. It'll split and crack for seemingly no reason. Most stainless steels cannot be oil hardened. They require a very specific hardening process with very exact temperatures, something that's very difficult, if not impossible to do with just your forge and oil. So if you're looking to make knives out of stainless and you don't have a proper tempering oven, don't bother. Use 5160 or 01 are great steels for that. Stainless steel makes very pretty stuff if you're making something for outside. Like I made a dinner bell out of stainless steel, and it still looks beautiful. It polishes very nicely, stainless steel does. It buffs up really, really, really well, and it stays shining for a long time. Tarnishes almost not at all. That's why they call it stainless. So that's really, really cool. It comes out looking very nice, but it can be a pain in the ass to work with. Keep it hot, hit it hard, and bend it as little as possible. When things go wrong the most for me is when I'm trying to bend, and then things break off. I was trying to make a fork, and I made the fork and I made the tines, and I was just finishing everything, right? I'm bending the tines to go the way that I want them to be, and as I'm doing this, 3 separate occasions, the tines broke. All of the tines broke. And when they broke, it was like purple on the inside. I don't know. I have no idea why that is. But yeah, that's my advice for forging stainless. Thomas Brown says, ouch, when are you going to forge some ninja weapons? Well, I am hesitant to forge ninja weapons because the knowledge that I have on how to forge them is not something that you genuinely share. Ninja secrets are ninja secrets for a reason. I can make very good bow shuriken, sanban shuriken. I've made shuko, the ninja claws, the proper traditional way. Not just welding little things on the ends, actually like making them real. The Yari, I made the Yari, that was a ninja weapon. Samurai used it, of course, as well. I'm going to be making a rope dart, but that's more of a kung fu weapon. Although ninja do have very similar tools. Oh, what's the name of the one? Very, very, very simple. It's a weight on a rope. It's similar to a rope dart or a meteor fist. Hojo, that's the word I'm looking for. So a hojo is something that is a ninja weapon. I've thought about making kama and things like this because, well, they're very. It's very easy to see how you would make it, and I don't think that there would be much that I would be giving away. But yeah, that's the reason why I don't make much in the way of ninja weapons, or rather, it's that I don't film much in the way of ninja weapons because those are secrets, and it's not very healthy to share ninja secrets. But there are some more ninja weapons that I could make or recreate based upon pictures, perhaps. But all of the ninja weapons, almost all of the ninja weapons that I've made so far have been with guidance and assistance from my sensei and using his knowledge. So I'm not at liberty to share that. But if I were to, make a kama, perhaps I could make a kama. Maybe that'll be a weapon that I make in near future. What are Logan Edwardson asks, what are some of the biggest hurdles that you faced when you started blacksmithing, and how did you overcome them? My biggest hurdle when I started blacksmithing was not having a freaking clue what I was doing. I overcame that by watching as many videos as I possibly could, reading a lot of books, and ultimately filming the processes that I was doing, putting them up on the internet, and accepting the feedback and trying to incorporate that feedback into my forging. So that was my biggest hurdle, not having an actual teacher. But I overcame that by turning YouTube into my instructor. Brent Natalia asks, how long are you supposed to keep your hand away from pussy? Hee hee. I'm not supposed to use my hand, this hand, as long as the infection exists, so about a week. This hand works though. Bridget Marie Jane Needham says, well wishes to you. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you very much. Well wishes in return. Elroy Neal asks, besides the cost, do you think titanium or tungsten is better as a weapon material? Well, you can't forge tungsten carbide, I know that. I have not worked with either titanium or tungsten. So this is really outside my area of expertise. But I know that you can forge quite successfully a titanium, and that it is also very light. I would think that titanium would work quite well. Not for an edged weapon. It doesn't hold an edge very well. But if you were to make a different kind of weapon other than an edged weapon, then titanium would work very well. I know that tungsten carbide is used for drill bits. So I think that tungsten might work better for an edged weapon. Again, I know you can't forge tungsten carbide. I don't know if you can forge tungsten. I don't know if you can actually forge it. If you can, then that might make a suitable edged weapon, but I don't know. I would say for an edged weapon, don't use either one. You could perhaps put high carbon steel inside of titanium and then weld that all together. I don't know if titanium will forge weld or not, but perhaps you could use regular welding. Again, I don't know, but that might be a fun experiment to try out. That is a very, 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 very good question to ask on Blacksmithing for Beginners, the Facebook page, or Facebook group, rather. I'm in that group, and whenever I have a question that I don't know the answer to, that's where I go to, usually, to get the answer, because there's a lot of very knowledgeable people there who are more than happy to give you their best answer. James Duncan says, cat bites are rough, man. I'm still waiting to see someone make that Scald's Bride with the little bell on it. Yeah, totally. So I'd be forging maybe that right now kind of thing, but I can't right now. So very soon. Very soon. And Rhiannon has volunteered to try it out. But maybe we'll try it on me, because she tried the last one. Would that be fair? I don't know. Greg Wilson says, far out. Take care, fella. Yeah, it sucks, Greg, but I am taking care. Thank you very much. Rob Garman says, be well quickly. Thank you, Rob. Well, there we are. Those are all of the questions that came through. I'd like to thank you all very much for your questions. I have merchandise now. Oh, yeah, hey, let's check out some merchandise, because this is really cool. I have a hat up for sale. Go check my Etsy store. It's got the Freeze Forge logo on there. It's stitched. It comes out looking really nice. Go check out there. It's like 30 bucks or something like that. It's pretty awesome. I'm glad that I was able to keep the price down on that one because it was from Printful. And although they wanted to charge me lots for the shirt, I was able to get the hat for like a little bit less, which I thought was kind of weird. I figured hats would be more. A little bit hard to see here, so let's bring you in. Like my sound effects. That was pretty cool, right? So this is the hat. It's got the Freeze Forge logo on it. You can find it on my Etsy store. There you are. You can kind of see that. This one has nothing on the back. So this is the Freeze Forge shirt. The back is blank. And it comes in men's tank top, women's tank top, and this great big banner thing. That looks pretty cool. I'm actually going to probably buy that eventually. Let's see, we've got this other shirt here. Greetings and good day. And on the back of it is the Freeze Forge logo. So if you want a 2-for-1 kind of thing, you have that option. And then we also have some stickers, Freeze Forge, and also a Freeze Forge mug. Greetings and good day. I thought that was pretty fun. So we've got that going for merchandise as well, which is really cool. So I've sold a couple of shirts and a couple of hats now, which is pretty neat. I'm so glad that you guys actually want this, because it's the only reason that I made it. So that's really neat. I would be wearing mine, but I looked for it and I couldn't find the stupid thing. I don't know where I put it. I don't know. It's around here somewhere, but Rhiannon just did laundry and I looked through all the laundry, but I couldn't find it. So I'm wearing this. But I definitely have merchandise now. And once my channel gets large enough, I'll be able to put my actual Teespring stuff like right below my videos, which will help make them easier for you to find, and I don't have to mention it at the end of the video like I'm doing now. Speaking of which, this is the end of the video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry it took longer than I thought, but I had more questions to answer than I expected. So, thank you all very much for your questions. May the Force serve you well.